I think we are coming to the peak of insecurity in Nigeria.
But I feel if there's any way we can get the president into a room, like a quiet room, sitting down in the center of the room, then write all of his campaign promises, and we'll put it in such a way that he will not be able to change the station.
Welcome to Reactions. My name is Mr. Sal. Joining me today to react to all the national trending issues of this week are Mr. Henry Oqua and Mr. Houston Nwachukwu. Mr. Houston Nwachukwu, how has the week been for you?
The week has not been good. The week has not been really impressive. It hasn't. It's been far from satisfactory. It's been really emotional for me because
Are you speaking personally or are you speaking generally?
I'm speaking generally and personally at the same time because I cannot pretend to not see the things that are going on in the country at this point in time, and not just in the country, going on in it was like I predicted this some episodes ago. I said the rain doesn't fall on one roof alone, and right now we're beginning to see it on different roofs. It's like it's raining everywhere in the country. Look what's happening in the southeast.
You're talking about the insecurity in the country.
Oh yes, insecurity. It's so alarming that I can't even eat without thinking, when will this get to everyone, or will it even get to everyone?
God forbid it doesn't get to everyone. Henry Oqua,
Yeah.
how's the week been?
On a personal note, it's been very hectic, very hectic. But thank God we have the energy to, to come here today and discuss these interesting topics that we have.
All right. So I'm just going to move to the first topic we'll be reacting to today. So on Tuesday, President Muhammadu Buhari announced the appointment of Usman Alkali Baba, a former Deputy Inspector General of Police, as the new acting Inspector General of Police, bringing an immediate end to the tenure of now former IGP Mohammed Adamu. The new acting IGP said after his decoration ceremony by the Vice President that Nigerians should expect major improvements in the security situation in the country. He also stated that he was part of the police management team under the former IGP and that the team did its best, but it was not good enough. So I'm going to read his exact words here. This was after his decoration ceremony. Nigerians will see improvement on where my predecessor left. I came in at a very challenging time. I know it. I recognize it. I will work on how to improve from where my predecessor left. I have been a member of the management team. We have tried to do our best, but it is not good enough. There is room for improvement. Nigerians should expect improvement in the security situation. So afterwards, I think the police headquarters released a statement. They described the new IGP as an astute crime fighter and a versatile manager of men and resources. So we have a new IGP right now in the heat of insecurity in the country, which we're going to talk about later on during this episode. The IGP is acknowledging that, first of all, he recognizes that it's coming in at a very crucial time when insecurity is at a very high point in the country. And he's telling Nigerians right now, these are his words, that I'm hoping to take seriously. I'm hoping that these are not just political statements, that Nigerians should expect improvement in the security situation in the country. So I don't know what you guys think about the appointment of the new IGP at this time, especially at this time of heated crisis, which we're going to talk about in the Southeast right now. And what specific expectations, what you expect from the IGP, putting everything aside, what you're expecting to do, what steps do you want him to take last week we were criticizing the former IGP for starting up a radio station. We laughed at him.
It was this one.
So,
It was this one.
It was this one.
It was this one. He had just come in before he was pipped.
Oh. No, but they are not announced his appointment.
I think it was the last one.
No, it's the last one. It was Adamu. This one was just appointed.
Adamu was fired and asked to leave.
Mm-hmm.
So Adamu is the one that announced radio stations last
was
week.
in Imo.
Adamu was in Imo earlier this week. Then he got fired. Then this one got because last week we had already shot the episode before this one. So this is a new guy right now. But the thing I noticed here, he said he was already part of the police management team under the former IGP. So I don't know whether that counts. And he made a statement saying that they did their best, or they were trying their best, but the best was not good enough. And he's still saying that he wants to continue from where his predecessor left. These words are very important to me. That's why I spotted them out. So I don't know what you guys expect from IGP Baba, or what you think about the appointment by the president of an IGP at this time of serious insecurity in the country. Henry Oqua, do you want to go first?
I just hope that I don't come off as an extreme pessimist, but there's nothing I expect of him. There's nothing I expect of the security situation in Nigeria, because security is built on trends and what's the word? Culture. Like people that have an epidemic of crime, there's a crime culture that has encroached on that location. You understand what I'm saying? Basically, what I mean is, what got us here was a lot of neglect over a long period of time. That's what brought us to where we are today. If we are going to
neglect of what?
Of government neglecting its own responsibilities. That's what brought us to where we are today, where kidnapping, banditry, blah, blah, blah. Let's not forget, it was in 2009 that the Ardwa, early 2007, 2008, Mohammed Yusuf was killed in, what do they call it, in Maiduguri. In police custody, what am I saying? Now, that situation was not managed well. It escalated into full-blown terrorism, as we were seeing in the Northeast. Today, we have different sets of radicalized people at different points in the country. Do you understand? Compounding the initial issue that we had not dealt with. Do you understand? Now I feel like it has become too complex for us to think that one man coming in and saying he's going to do his best. The whole Nigerian police force needs complete turnaround from top to bottom.
Who is going to turn it around? Don't you need a leader?
A political leader who understands a political leader who is in tune with what is happening in society. Someone who is listening, someone who can see for himself, not someone who is cordoned off in some castle and unapproachable.
But for this new IGP, let's put everything aside, everything that you have said right now. What do you think the police could do right now? Him as a leader coming in, what are your suggestions that he could put in place to secure some of these very troubled states right now in these regions?
So, sir, I think it's not as much a matter of tools as much as it is a matter of body language. Do you understand? Now, we have leaders are able to build bridges or tear whole countries apart. Do you understand? The IGP in his position, one thing that I think will be important for him to do is to ensure that when there's a tone, a divisive tone in the words that come out from government officials. If the IGP can do his best to stand out from the rest of the crowd and not have that divisive tone that we've heard, I think to a large extent, situations will not get escalated very quickly.
Okay. Mr. Houston, what do you think about the appointment of a new IGP at this time? And what do you think he could do differently from his predecessors? What are the steps, the measures you think he could take, to secure Nigeria, to secure Nigerians as well, effectively?
Firstly, I'd say I think it is a step in the right direction to change the most senior person in the police force, and the poorly commanded, ill-equipped, and undertrained Nigerian police force. It is a step in the right direction to change whoever led the police force in the last operations, whatever it is they did, and now we have a new IGP. That's a step in the right direction. But then I feel there's some issues that are still being neglected. If you look clearly at what's going on in the country, a particular group of the country, in fact, as far as security is concerned, everything has been vested in, or almost everything, as to do with appointments, has been vested in a particular region. And we might say we're not talking about federal character right now, but then you cannot continue to let a particular group of the country to remain aggrieved or disgruntled because of the appointments that you give. So this appointment is okay, even though it's a step in the right direction, but then it is stirring up a lot of emotions in certain parts of the country already, while some are celebrating and some people are still disgruntled because you have... First, let me ask, the insurgents, the Boko Haram insurgents are from where? They're from the northern region. The bandits are from where? The northern region. The chief of army staff from the north. Now you have the police still from the north. Are you trying to tell me that you make appointments that are not inclusive? And you know what happens when you make appointments that are not inclusive? When you make appointments that are not inclusive, the parts that are not duly represented become the crime that you're fighting. They become the criminals. Not necessarily criminals, but when people are disgruntled in a system, in a federal system like what we're supposed to be operating here, everybody ought to be represented to a certain amount. A group of the country have been calling out, they've called out the government severally, they've said, look, we need somebody in security. We don't have anybody in any of these government appointments and all that. And the government will tell you that their excuses, we only put people with trust. That was an excuse this administration put up in some time ago. And now they're further showing this, like they're further explaining this with this recent appointments of a northern police. I mean, the day this person was appointed, we saw what happened. The same day he was appointed, we saw what happened in Imo State. Doesn't this go to show, like, I mean, there's a salient expression from a particular part of the country. I don't know where it's coming from, but from the tone, you could actually see that even though it's a welcome development, it's still not done, it's not being done the right way. So I think this is in football. This is what we typically call beautiful nonsense. It's nice what you did by changing the old IGP, who is said to be very notorious for getting information and not acting on them, or getting what's it called, tip-offs and not acting on them, and you're replacing him. That's a good thing. But now you're replacing him with who?
Yeah, but should it matter where the IGP
yes,
is from?
yes.
And like you said something earlier that appointing from a certain region aggrieves another region or makes some crime now being perpetrated in another region.
Yes.
But how do you back that up with we have had Northerners as these chiefs all the while, the service chiefs and the IGPs all the while, but we still have Boko Haram paramount in the northeast for many years and the northwest, despite them having the service chiefs.
Now they say you cannot continue to carry out the same experiment or the same practice and expect different results. Now, just like you said, thank you for that point. You've appointed security chiefs from a particular region time and time again. Doesn't it occur to you that it's time to make changes, to make effective changes? Appoint people from other regions. Okay, the former Inspector General of Police, for instance, was said to have been briefed. He was said to have been informed, to have been given intelligence reports before what happened in Imo State happened in Imo State 2 times. And he ignored, 3 times, and he ignored them. Okay, now you're bringing some other person as the new IGP of police. You're bringing almost someone who's like his deputy, or you're bringing someone who worked with the former one. So just like Henry Oqua had said, what's the change we're seeing? There is no change.
So do you expect anything from him?
Truthfully, it is my culture, it is my system to give people time. it's my system to give people time. But then if you were part of that particular group, you were part of that the last management, then I really do not see much. Like, I'm not trying to be a pessimist as well, but I really do not see much that's to happen in the future.
Wow. It looks like a very hopeless situation right now.
So I think
Why
in the
sounding
events,
hopeless?
I think in the events between yesterday and today, with the pronouncement by the Zamfara State Governor and what's happening in Imo State and all of that, and then in the Southwest as well, I think we are coming to the peak of insecurity in Nigeria. And how we move from this point to whatever point where there's some level of peace and quiet, how we go walk ourselves from now to that point will determine a lot about the future of this country. Because you have a governor who is saying enough of the killings of the northerners in the south. Do you understand?
And threatening to retaliate as well.
Basically encouraging northerners to retaliate what is happening to their brothers in the south. Will the southern governors sit down and watch?
And we have a commander.
Will there be full-blown religious or cultural riots ethnic riots in Nigeria? Can Nigeria actually put that into the mix of what we are already dealing with? The IGP's hands are full, and I wish him all the best. But I hope I don't hope too much. Or I'm not expecting much from him.
Let's go on to this situation in Imo State. Yeah, so on Wednesday, the governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodinma, speaking on Channels Television's Politics Today, said that he has credible evidence and statements regarding the sponsors of the criminals paid heavily to cause a national crisis in the country and tarnish the government of President Muhammadu Buhari. So the governor was reacting to the recent attacks in the state, which include the killing of 7 northern traders by unknown gunmen. That happened between Friday and Saturday last week, and the attacks, as we know, on the Owerri Correctional Center, as well as the Imo State Police Command Headquarters, which led to the escape of over 1,800 inmates, which I don't still believe they have the real figures, and the burning of over 50 police vehicles on Monday, as reported, and another attack on Tuesday night, which led to the burning of Ehime in Bano local government area divisional police headquarters, still in Imo State. So this is what the governor said, reacting to those attacks. He said, we have credible evidence leading to those who pay the hoodlums, where they met and how they met. Security agencies are already working with this information. Some people are trying to sponsor a synchronized national crisis to bring the government of Muhammadu Buhari to disrepute. Otherwise, tell me why these things are happening at this time. This is making a statement and he's saying he's not sure still, so he's speculating, but he's saying that he has credible evidence.
It explains.
We have to take note of that. Otherwise, tell me why these things are happening at this time, particularly in Imo and APC states. So he goes on to say people are sponsoring these people. Some of them already caught have made confessional statements. I am going to forward my report to the central government. So the president later reacted, calling the attacks in Imo State acts of terrorism. Yeah. So after all these the attacks that happened on Friday, on Saturday, then we had Monday and Tuesday. The former IGP that left office, he flew to Imo State. The security team there had a meeting with the governor as well. They were matching orders that were given against IPOB. The governor came, released this statement. Then on Thursday, in the early hours of Thursday, after the appointment of a new IGP, and after all the brouhaha, because these guys were moving and we were expecting to see actions, but in the early hours of Thursday, there was another attack that was carried out on Imberi Divisional Police Headquarters in Imo State. And more suspects were freed and the police station was vandalized as well. The police said this here, I'm just going to quote this. He said, "We resisted them, but they overpowered us. I had to keep this one. He said they had more sophisticated weapons than us. Yeah, this is what the police sources said. So, Mr. Houston, I would like to go to you first because you are from the Southeast. You know, we heard about the situations that happened in the Southeast within just a couple of days, not even a week, because that started on Friday, Saturday, then there was Monday, and there was Tuesday, and there was Thursday attack. You know, then the governor has come out to say, these are criminals that are paid heavily to make the president look bad. Yeah, basically, that's what it said. You know, then we had the former IGP that came out to say that these attacks are carried out by IPOB, which is the indigenous people of Biafra. You know, then the federal government, through the presidency, came out to say that these are acts of terrorism. Everybody just making different statements. You know, so you coming from the Southeast right now, what do you think is going on in the Southeast? What's going on in Imo State that you understand or that you know or that you perceive? You know, what's going on? Why are all these attacks being carried out? You might not know who is carrying out the attack, but what do you think is going on? What's the feel from home?
Firstly, I'd like to correct the notion there. I'm actually from the South and the Southeast.
Okay, so yeah.
Okay, so firstly, I'll say the governor is not entirely wrong, even though his statements seem to be somewhat playing to the gallery and trying to show support.
So when you say he's not entirely wrong, so
no, he's not entirely wrong with regards to the perpetrators. Now, you cannot say these are IPOBs, these are IPOB people, or the perpetrators are IPOB. I mean, no one knows who the perpetrators of this act are. The only evidence, or the closest evidence that has come to the media or anybody right now is they said the people were said to be speaking Igbo language. The Igbo language.
Though, so
fine. No. It could be. But then, did you see a tag on them? Did you? I mean, when IPOB is said to be a proscribed group, right?
Yeah.
So when a proscribed group perpetrates something, what do? They take responsibility. They own it. They own up to it. This is what happens with every other terrorist group, even though IPOB have not been really like in recent times, I've not really seen them perpetrate any terror.
But they released a statement and said that they did not take part in this.
They dissociated themselves from it.
Chasing the Fulani herdsmen in the farms.
Fine. Now this is what they said. Now, and I also know that with all the things, I mean, with all the attacks from the ISWAP, Boko Haram group in the north, I've never heard of a situation where they will invade a prison and release reprobates. I think this is it's something that's low, both on the part of the aggressors and however you put it, releasing reprobates, releasing convicts from prison. This is like doing harm to yourself and the system. So I don't see how IPOB will do that. And if IPOB did that, they will typically own up to it, like they've owned up to every other thing, like chasing the Fulani headsmen and the rest of them. Okay, that's one. Now, secondly, this is why I'm saying the governor is not entirely wrong. But with regards to his statement, I think it's funny how the governor puts it, because this is why I told you in previous episodes, I've told you I don't like politicians and I don't trust how they sound. I don't even trust how they smell. Everything about politicians just doesn't sit well with me.
You don't trust
you came here and you said you have credible, in the statement he said he has credible information.
Yes.
If you have credible information, you didn't act upon it. Okay, let us assume you got your credible information after this act have been perpetrated. All right. Why don't you bring those information out, or why don't you put them out, give them to the right citizen? You're telling us you have credible information, and then you're coming back to say they are doing this to discredit the president.
And why else? Why else? I mean,
and you came back to say, why or otherwise? Why else will they be doing this? Now it looks like you are using the incident to show support for the government, for the federal government, either because you're trying to like show your fealty, your loyalty to the government, or you do not want your state to be declared a state of emergency. That now becomes personal interest, or I don't understand why you're telling me they're trying to discredit the president. Is it about the president? This is about your state. Any statement, any post incident statement a governor is supposed to make with regards to what's happening in the state should have nothing to do with Buhari's administration. Don't tell us. He was making sense with the whole statement, with the whole speech. He was making sense from the beginning where he was talking until he got to the point where irked me bad was when he came to start talking about they're trying to discredit the president's administration. The president discredits his own administration, for crying out loud. What trying to discredit? Did this happen in the president's house? Did it happen in Katsina State? Did this happen in the villa? This is happening in Imo State, for crying out loud. You are supposed to be the number one chief security officer of the state, and you are telling us trying to discredit. Now you see, they play politics in everything.
That's
even
why
insecurity.
I keep saying, though, why do we play politics with everything?
Even insecurity, people's lives are at stake.
About politics.
Do you know what it means? Do you know what it means to release over 1,800 brigands? You release these people into look, this is appalling. My week has been so bad because of this news. It has been so bad because I have people down south, and it's not just about people down south. It's only a matter of time. Kidnapping started in the Niger Delta. We saw this thing happen in the Niger Delta, and we thought the Niger Deltans were doing this and getting away with it. And after amnesty, everything seemed to simmer down. What's happening right now? The headsmen, the bandits, everyone is now learning from it now. That kidnapping is now the big business. It's now the most lucrative business in town. You could do it and get over 800 million or $1 billion naira from the government. Now people are breaking felons. They're breaking out felons. You know what this means? And what annoys me again is the fact that the government is still depending on information and no information. See, all hands are supposed to be on deck with this. It's not just for the security agencies. What's his name? The Minister of Information and Digital Economy. I don't even know what that is. He comes out, Mr. Pantami, he's always here fighting for USSD, fighting with banks and talking all these things. This is the time for him to get on. See, you've seen Prison Break. You've seen the movie Prison Break. Yeah. These were like 8 felons who were released, and the whole of US was shook because of this one thing. Now we have over 1,800 people. Do you know what that means? This is the time where people like Issa Pantami now should give instruction. It's simple. You don't even need guns to catch these people. It's quite simple if the government is ready to do this. Get every statutory data capturing parastatal right now involved. Stop registration of anything, opening of accounts, stop it. If you've done NIN or national ID cards, stop registration of anything. Then people can start identifying themselves. And people who didn't have this thing before this time, you refer to the prison records, check if their names are there, you catch them. It's quite simple.
They have records.
Yes, the prison should have prison records. Their prison records.
For 1,800.
Oh yes, their prison records. Sometime about 3 years ago, that same prison, the guy was actually freed and he refused to leave. He came back, said he had no place to go to after 15 years and all that. And his records were all there. When they put the news out there, they put his record online and everything. So they have records. The prison have records. Also, sorry, one more thing. Yeah. I used to always talk about how attacking governors wasn't really wasn't showing the extent of insecurity, or wasn't showing how bad insecurity has gotten in Nigeria. If the prisons that are supposed to be one of the most fortified, prisons are supposed to be fortresses. They're supposed to be fortresses for the condemned or for the convicted. That's how prisons are supposed to be. Prisons are supposed to be fortresses where you can't come in and you can't go out just like that. It is like keeping prisoners. Taking care of prisoners is supposed to be a clinical experience, supposed to be a clinical thing. Work. It's not what somebody just it's not what you just do with mouth. You talk about this and do that and do that. If prisons could be broken open like that in Nigeria, if people could be let out of prisons like that, then I think this is the height of it.
And that operation went on for over 2 hours.
For over 2 hours.
A police or a security firm or whatever for over 2 hours.
Yeah. And sorry, one more thing. They said what's it called? They said the prisoners they left. They asked all of them to leave the place and everything. Mm. Now these people, first of all, these are prisoners. These are convicts. You think if these prisoners are let out like this, it's not going to. These people will look. They probably don't even plan to settle in Imo State. They will spread. It's a problem for every state right now. It should be a problem because you will find some of them in Abuja. They will look for succor anywhere they can find succor. They will move from Imo State, come to Abuja, go to anywhere, even the north. So all hands are supposed to be on deck with regards to this particular issue.
Wow, Oqua, what do you think is going on in the southeast? And let's not forget the fact that despite all the moves by the police, by the state government, by the federal government, on Thursday there was still another attack on another police station in the same state.
So I wish Uzodinma would be. He doesn't strike me like an honest person. Anybody who will go and cry with somebody outside over death in his own family, I don't know what to make of that kind of person. He sounds like a very dubious man, and him saying these things are political.
Yeah.
There are lines that even I am afraid to cross. There are lines that I am afraid to mention on air. Do you understand? But sir, you don't take on this type of task or execute this type of attack, you understand, on state infrastructure without the DSS knowing about it. It's not possible, irrespective of where you are. Do you understand? The last time this happened was in the northeast. I think it was either Borno or Yobe states, where Boko Haram went in with these gun trucks, blew the army formation that was there out of the water, broke the place, released their prisoners, and after that we saw increased attacks, and whatnot. Now, beside what Uzodinma said, is what the president of the Igbo National Council said. His name is Chilos Godsent.
Yeah.
Godsent said, the attacks are politically motivated to achieve political goals. We have DSS, police, army, and other security outfits in the state, and you want us to believe that they are somewhere and allow the hoodlums to cause these damages to public institutions. Is that what you want us to believe? Nobody can succeed in this kind of attacks without cooperation of security operatives. So this is what bothers me the most. We have seen from our history that we have people who are sitting down and waiting to cash in on loss of lives, security, insecurity issues, and whatever it is. Nigeria has enough merchants who are ready to cash in on those type of things. You get? Now, the magnitude of this attack in Imo State, and these things, the locations of these attacks do not strike me like far-flung areas. You understand? So it's within localities, within communities, you understand, that these things are happening. So it is not possible. It is not possible that these things are being done and nobody knows where these people are coming from. Not in Imo State. It's not possible in Imo State. It isn't possible. If anybody can do anything and disappear, maybe not be found or whatever, it is the state that can do that kind of thing. It is only the state that has the ability to go in and come out unrecognized.
Wow.
They have the infrastructure. They listen to our calls. They watch everything that we do. So how come can the DSS DG explain this to us? Can the army explain to us? Do they have formations in Imo State? What were they doing during that period? Have they gone now? So after the first attack, nobody moved. Nobody decided that no, let's add so and so number of people to so and so places.
That's what
do you understand?
About.
So when you look at that, and now Uzodinma is saying it's political, Godsent is saying it's political. With this, I agree with both of them. However,
even if it's political,
is pulling the strings?
No, even if it's political, why can the police be overpowered? Anybody can plan to do whatever they want to do. Then we can block you.
So we've discussed this before. Yeah, and two things that I've said here is I don't believe that there's a government in Nigeria. That's one. I just believe that there's a group of people who are feeding themselves fat and they're happy with what they're doing. They should continue doing it. Secondly, I also believe that the Nigerian police is the most neglected among our security agencies. You understand? There's no respect. There's obviously no respect for Nigerian police. You see how they are deployed even in Abuja here. You understand? Now, if we do not, so you can't fix anything without fixing it from the foundation. You can't carry plaster and cover anything in this case. Fixing our security infrastructure is very, very dependent on our ability to reform the Nigerian police.
Wow. Anyway, let me move on. So, reacting to these attacks in Imo State, a political activist, Adeyanju, said, and I quote, he said, "Something terrible is happening in the southeast. If care is not taken, it will be worse than Boko Haram. We need a new president urgently who will not divide the country along tribal and ethnic lines." So, what I took from Deji's statement, he says if care is not taken, if steps are not taken, wherever is happening, that's why I asked you guys, what do you think is happening in the southeast? Where is this coming from? What's happening in Imo State? And I tried to get him on, but we could not get him on because he said he only does virtual interviews for now. Because I needed him to really tell us what does he think is happening in the southeast, which he thinks if care is not taken and if we don't change the president urgently, because I don't know how that's supposed to be done. You don't just wake up and change the president, So is he going to take us to change the president urgently for we to avoid whatever is happening in the southeast to metamorphose into a worse situation than Boko Haram in the northeast? I don't know what Deji is saying. Are you guys seeing what he's saying? What's happening is like something is brewing in the southeast, according to him. And if care is not taken, it could be. We all know what Boko Haram is. We're still dealing with Boko Haram for several years.
So, no matter who comes into office today, we will still have at least 3 to 4, 5 years of crime. Not at this level. Do you understand? We'll start to hear, so person was kidnapped. After 3 months, we hear another person was kidnapped. That's what's most likely going to happen. Now, DJ has been on his agenda of removing Buhari from office for a while. And I understand that as an activist, he has to be sensational like this. But he himself understands that it is a democratically elected government, and the democratic process will have to be followed if we are going to change any this thing. And there's no provision for us right now to change leadership. It's not as if we have a Senate or whatever, or it's not as if we have a what do they call it, National Assembly now that can actually put anything in play to recall the president, to impeach the president. So that's out of the line, out of the way. Now, I agree with DG when he says what is happening will be worse than Boko Haram. Now, this is why I do think that if care is not taken, we are already too late for that. No, this is why I want to explain. Now, it takes you feeling marginalized for you to be primed for radicalization. So the people who don't feel like they are part of the system will be pushed farther and farther and farther and farther away. And then somebody comes and says, "Hey, I'm your father. I'll provide you this. I'll provide you that." Nah, don't worry about those people. Just eat. Just learn. Just read this thing. Read this book for me. That's how radicalization happens. So when people are, you see, what do they call it? Economies or countries that are thinking well, whenever there's unrest, but there's a complete intelligence breakdown of what is happening, where the agitations are coming from, what the grievances are. You understand? So have we? You see, instead of us to scientifically approach the issue that we faced in the north, in the southeast, starting from 2015 when this administration came in, instead of us to apply science that has shown us that there's a way to go about this thing and make sure that young people are not radicalized, we say no. Let's assume for a second that they're trying to pin this thing on the Eastern Security Network. Let's assume that they're trying to pin it on the Eastern Security Network. IPOP has said no, it is not them. So even if you're pinning it on the Eastern Security Network, it means that under your watch, a fresh group has come up. Let's not forget the Niger Delta Avengers. Do you understand? It is a system. So it is a system of, we are doing what we are doing. We don't care what you people say. That is what has made all of this happen. Now, that was the situation we had in early 2000s when Mohammed Yusuf was there. That's the situation. And before we knew what was happening, the government went after Mohammed Yusuf, killed him, and today we have ISWAP. How many years later?
Yeah, Mr. Houston. Do you think if care is not taken, if the security agencies do not step up, I don't know how they're going to step up anyway, you know? But do you think that if care is not taken, if we don't step up in terms of security, you know, whatever is going on in the southeast region could be worse? He didn't just say it could be like Boko Haram. He said it could be worse.
In conflict management, there's usually the dialogue part first before people get to, you know, fisticuff, before people start to get violent and all that. So it starts with one thing. I don't think, like Deji said, if he continues, blah, 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 blah. See, Deji's actually stating the obvious. I think if this government continues to remain uninclusive, this government refuses to adopt inclusiveness, more things will happen, like more bad things will happen. And right now we're talking about the Southeast, except this is what the president really, really wants. Now, you know why I'm saying this? Is because, I mean, when the president came in, the fight we had was against corruption. It wasn't against insecurity. And right now we're fighting insecurity. I think it's been a downward trajectory.
Are they even fighting insecurity?
Okay, it's been a downward trajectory. It's been a serious deterioration in governance because a group of people will come out and tell you, look, this is our grievance. You don't care, you don't want to listen. They come out tomorrow, this is our grievance. You don't want to listen. They come out and say, okay, you know what, we don't want to be a part of this unity. Now, in as much as I've reiterated over and over that I'm not a secessionist, I don't support secessionists, but I think a people's plight needs to be looked at, needs to be looked into. If you're a government, you need to find out why people act the way they do, or why people are doing or saying whatever it is they're saying. Find out. But when you turn a blind eye, or when you pay, worse off is when you pay lip service to the whole thing, and you're like, before insecurity in Imo State, what was the Easterners, what was their grievance? That they were not being duly represented in government. That was their grievance.
The government's response was
and the government's response was what was the government's response?
Who's marginalizing you?
Exactly.
They keep making appointments and not caring. They keep appointing.
Sorry to bring this in. Just yesterday, I saw a statement by Ango Abdulai, one of the northern leaders. Yeah. He said Nigeria cannot afford to be separated. That the North has actually contributed.
What the North keep saying. They don't want separation.
He said the North has sacrificed so much for this country that this country, we cannot afford to watch this country separate. And I'm like, if we want to look at it now, if we want to like kick the ballistics now, what has the North actually sacrificed for this country? What? Food?
No, I think, guys. So I think as much as these people push our buttons so much, you have to understand that they have either they are strategists or they have strategists behind them, backing them, telling them this statement, this is the response that it's going to get. I feel like our task.
I think Nigeria is just a joke right now, where people are just strategizing to do this, to do that. Are we running the country?
I've told you this.
No, because when I hear stuff like this, I actually get pissed off.
I've told you this now,
sir. It's like a group of people doing this to wait for a response from here to do this. I'm like, we're supposed to be running a country. Like, are we running a country?
We all went to secondary school in Nigeria.
Yeah.
You know what it feels like when your form master is not there?
Exactly.
Outside.
Exactly.
And the toughest guy.
That's a holiday, for crying out loud. That's a holiday that starts from the class.
Man. But you still have those responsible classrooms that still do the right thing.
Do you know?
Those classrooms are not Nigerian.
See, Sal,
those classrooms are not Nigerian.
Sal, the Niger Delta.
This thing is becoming tired.
The Niger Delta has sacrificed her land. They sacrificed their natural resources. They sacrificed their waters. The last time I went to Port Harcourt, I couldn't swim. There's no way you could take a dip in Port Harcourt right now in any water in Port Harcourt. You could take a dip without coming out with say close to 5 liter of crude oil on top of your head. We have sacrificed our land. We've sacrificed our natural resources. We've sacrificed our waters. We don't even have fishes anymore. These days, people mock us and say the Niger Delta youths are becoming very, very lazy. They can't even fish. Where do we fish? Our fishes are dead. They're dying. These are people who have sacrificed stuff for the unity of this country. The North, the gold in the North doesn't even belong to everybody. The cows, do they belong to us? It doesn't belong to us. What has the North sacrificed? So you make statements like this, and a particular section is so aggrieved at the things you say, they become irate, become riled up by the things you say. And you keep saying this thing, and when the president, the leader of a country, is expected to say statements to pacify the situation, and not just pacify, to act on it on those statements, he comes out and not just only say much worse, like much more appalling things.
Wow.
Right now, look at what's happening under his watch, and he's not in the country. And one of his appointees is saying the president doesn't necessarily have to hand over power.
Anyway,
I'm just I'm just tired.
Let's move on, man. Like me, I will continue to pray and hope for the best. The situation might look hopeless, but I always believe nothing lasts forever. In as much as we have people playing politics with everything, like these people are not even going to live forever. So we just hope that the generations that come in, which is our generation, we hope we can do things differently, and we hope things will even change before then. Like, you still have to hope, though.
So
I have to hope.
Personally, I don't.
Because the other countries are running as countries now. Yeah.
So, what the Buhari years have done to us is to make us realize that even by the threads that we are hanging on, there are things hanging on those threads and pulling them hard. Do you understand? So there's no, I feel like in Nigeria, we are all walking around blindfolded, and we can hear the bomb about to go off, but we don't know where it's going to go off, what direction it's going to go off. So we're just walking anyhow. Wherever it meets us, it meets us.
Anyway,
God have mercy
let's
on us.
move on. So President Buhari was alleged to have been placed under house arrest by protesting Nigerians in London and blocked from having access to his foreign doctors for days. This was according to Reno Mokri, a former aide to former President Goodluck Jonathan. So he tweeted, he wrote this on Twitter. He said the Harass Buhari out of London movement has effectively made General Buhari a prisoner at Abuja House. He is under house arrest. He cannot come out. He cannot sneak out to see his beloved doctors. We have shown him who really has the power. Power belongs to the people. Now he knows. I thank Nigerians for coming out for day 2 of the Harass Buhari out of London. Somebody suspected to be Buhari was peeping through the window. Okay. And he said their plan to go to the doctor was frustrated. For the second day, General Buhari was trapped at Abuja House. What a good day for Nigeria. So, Reno Mokri, a former presidential aide, we all know him to be very vocal. He's actually based in the United States, Abi. He's based in America.
You say America or UK?
He's based in America. Okay. So he flew to London, to
a man on a mission.
to carry out, to organize this protest. To organize this protest, harass Buhari out of London protest. So they have apparently blocked the door of the residence of the president in London for days. I think they are still there till today, preventing him from going to see his doctors or preventing the doctors from coming to see him. Apparently, they say he has not even left that building. I don't know how true that is, but this is what Reno Mokri is saying. I don't know what you guys think about this move, so we are here praying for a better country. We're here praying for better leaders. We're here trying to use our voices to make these people hear us, take actions to make them hear us. I don't know whether you guys think this is a good move, this move by Reno and some of the Nigerians in London going to block the residence of the president, saying no to foreign medical checkup when you have not developed the hospitals in Nigeria, when doctors are on strike, but you can go and use the doctor in another country that is being run by a responsible leader. Saying no to things like this, saying no to poor medical welfare, which these doctors in Nigeria are asking for, which they cannot even grant them. So I don't know what you think about this move by Reno and some of the other Nigerians in London, stopping the president and placing him under house arrest, allegedly.
So I can't say whether this is a good or bad move, but what I can say is that the president has become a masquerade. You know, we from
Hey,
all
what does that mean?
in our cultures, you don't unmask a masquerade. You don't bring out the face of the person who is under. The person will go into secret, put it on, finish what he's doing with as a masquerade, come back and remove it. So you cannot even tell who in particular was under that masquerade. Now our president is a masquerade, and I think the fact that he does not listen has made this a worthwhile effort for Reno and Co. Because if this is the only way he will hear, I think they should make their voices as loud as possible.
Yeah,
That's why I think
it's something. I mean,
he has to speak. The president will have to speak at one point or the other. You're not doing us a favor. You're not doing us a favor. You went everywhere begging for these votes, and you got them. You went into office, and all of a sudden you think you are no. There'll be no lecky. At least there'll be no lecky shooting in this case.
Exactly.
So
let him that's a good thing. They can actually protest freely and confidently, knowing that there's not going to be any massacre.
Yeah, that's a form of protest, and also you can't. These are Nigerians abroad. They're still Nigerians. They're Nigerians first before anything. And the place where the president is said to be is Abuja House, which is also Nigeria in London. So you can't tell the people how to act. These are Nigerians. What was the word? Exercising their fundamental human rights. So what they're doing is not a question of whether it's bad or good. It's the people explaining, like externalizing their feelings. So that's their own way of talking. You can't tell it. You cannot have the right to annoy someone and still have the right to decide how the person reacts to your infuriating situation. Okay, that's one. Secondly, I think if I had my way, I think what we should do with the president is nothing bad. He's the president, he has to be there. But I feel if there's any way we can get the president into a room, like a quiet room, sitting down in the center of the room, then write all of his campaign promises on very big screens.
Yeah, but they denied making all these campaign promises.
Put it in front of him. No, you know the funny thing, President Buhari became a president during the digital era, so everything is on record. So we'll bring all of those campaign promises. The ones that are visual, we'll put it for him to watch. The ones that are audio, we'll play it for him to, and we'll put it in such a way that he will not be able to change the station. Like just having one. Because sometimes I wonder if politicians read the papers. Sometimes I wonder if
they don't read.
Because they get newspaper allowance. I wonder if they read these things. Sometimes I wonder if they watch the news. Sometimes I wonder if they see these things and just laugh. Sometimes I wonder if they even know what's happening.
How would you know?
So it's something I would really love to do.
At least he knows that there's a protest going on in front of his residence.
Oh, now he knows because his doctor cannot come.
Yes, I think the
people they're hitting him where it hurts.
I think the people in London or Nigerians subsequent protests, if we're ever going to have any, I think we should not just say no to bad governance, say no to all of these things are generic. I think we should challenge these people with their words, because even the Bible says, God said in the Bible, it says, challenge me if I will not do this. So that's how leaders speak. When they say, you challenge them. So I think the president, he needs to see these things. He needs to see, or he needs to hear tapes of himself saying he's going to equip the medical sector.
Realistically, how is that going to happen? That's not going to happen.
It's never going to happen.
I think all the radio stations one day should just take it. All the
radio stations are under NBC.
Yes, they should take one day and just play.
Now they're under NBC and they will come and find them.
Because it's just sad.
Yeah, but like you guys said, or at least we are doing something. Me, I always believe in doing something is better than doing nothing. You know, they restricting him, except he's not a human being. He will feel embarrassed.
Yes, he'll feel embarrassed.
This is a national embarrassment. You're in a foreign land. This is not Nigeria.
Did you see what happened over the week? Did you see what happened to the Myanmar ambassador to the UK?
No, I didn't see that.
Oh, he went to his office and he was locked out of his office.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
He was locked out of his office by the Myanmar because he was appointed as an ambassador. He was appointed ambassador by the former.
These ones that live inside Aso Rock and their office is in Aso Rock that nobody can enter. You see where ours is different, and they made it in such a way that everything works for them. Yeah. Anyway,
please just continue.
Let's go. So reacting, like the presidency reacted to the protests and the criticisms against the president going to the UK for medical checkup. So presidential aide Loretta Onochi Yeah, we have to handle Loretta.
No
Yeah.
sorry phrase or
Yeah,
or
she
what
said
come
that
ahead,
no
like
amount of criticisms from whalers should. So she called Nigerians now whalers. Like
from
me,
the opening of the segment.
I'm not an opposition, but I am totally against the bad governance going on right now. So I don't know how me I'm a whaler.
You're a
So
whaler.
she
You're
called
part of
them
the 5%.
whalers. Yeah, she said no criticisms from whalers will stop President Buhari from embarking on more medical trips to London. So this is what she tweeted. She said next year, President Buhari will go for a routine checkup. We have been here since 2016. It has been the same wailing, so the response will also be the same. We at least once a year, people across the world see their personal doctors, especially one they have seen for about 40 years. Buhari will not dump his doctor of about 40 years so that whalers can be happy. This is a blackmail. Thankfully, he does not pay blackmailers. In 2016, this Loretta continuing, I ran from one media house to the other, educating us on the psychology of the bond between a patient and his or her long-standing doctor. The fact remains that if President Buhari chooses, he will go for checkups in 2022 and 2023. I found this statement very provoking though. Like, yeah, she seems like she's provoking people. You know, let me finish. So she goes on to say he will continue to go. It is his choice to go or not to. I do not think any man who will, I do not know any man who will accept a different barber to cut his hair if the one he is used to is not available. Yeah, will you allow another barber cut your hair if the one you have been using for 40 years is not available? Have you been using any barber for 10 years?
How no?
Have you used any barber for 10 years straight?
No.
Okay, because she has drawn into barber and man relationship. Anyway, let me finish what she said. So she says, whaling cannot take away his rights to see his personal doctors. So whalers must get ready for 2 more years of whaling and fooling around. God bless Nigeria. So she calls this whaling and she calls this fooling around. I read this whole statement. In my mind, I asked myself, is it that this woman is not intelligent enough to understand what's going on? Is it that she's not intelligent enough to understand what even the protest is about? You know, nobody is stopping. I don't believe that if we had like the best hospitals in Nigeria and the president had to go to the UK to go for medical checkup, I don't think an average Nigerian would care. Mm-hmm. We will not give a damn. You know, I don't think in US they are thinking about where Joe Biden is going to go and have his medical checkup. Doctors are on strike. You know, doctors are asking for basic allowances. They're asking for increase of one of those allowances from 5,000 naira. They are begging for that to be increased. Yeah, hazard allowance. You know, we don't even have hospitals because some of those things we have, I don't call them hospitals. The first lady just released a book yesterday and they still repeated the Aso Rock clinic scenario where she said, yeah, there was no x-ray machine. You know, they don't even have basic drugs. You know, so I don't know whether Loretta even understand what's going on, or she's just being political, as we always say. Everybody is now playing politics. Everything is not about politics. Like, this lady needs to understand that everything is not about politics. You know, and if she really knows why people are protesting and what people are angry about, and she still chose to release this kind of provoking statement, I think it's a bad representative from the presidency. Yeah, because this is a presidential statement. This is a response to your people crying out to say, hey, we want this, we want that, we are not satisfied with what you have given us, we want better. And you come out to release a statement like this.
The thing is, I think the government of the day and Nigerians as a whole, Nigerians, we say, there's this thing we say every time. We say it sometimes subconsciously, sometimes we know where we say it. We say, Nigerians are happy people. So I think the government have actually come to a point where they now believe that Nigerians are stoics. They feel we practice stoicism, where we We don't express pain. Like, we're not provoked at pain or anything. We just suppress pain. She made a reference to a barber-client relationship.
Yeah.
That's completely that shows how intelligent this woman is, because that's a very false equivalence. It has nothing to, like, you can't reference that to healthcare and the patient. One of them is aesthetic, and the other one is life, actual life, like life. Okay. Nigerians are very disgruntled. If the government is hearing me, wherever they are, if anybody from the government is hearing what I'm saying, they should know this. Nigerians are becoming very disgruntled. I'm not saying Nigerians are becoming wise, Nigerians are becoming smart. I'm saying Nigerians are becoming very, very irate. Like, they're becoming angry. There's no happy person out there. Even someone who's smiling is not happy. Even super egos that used to unify this country before is no longer working anymore. Like, super egos doesn't unite us anymore. I sit down with guys. Before now, everybody wants to run home to watch the match. Nobody gives a damn right now. Nobody wants to know what's happening. So, whatever it is, whatever that thing it is that makes them feel we suppress pain, we're happy, we're still going to be united when this thing happens, they should know that it's no longer working. They need to get back to work. As for Loretta Onochi, I just have one thing to tell her. She has more power than me, she's in the government. But Loretta, wherever you are, she's hearing me. I don't think you're an intelligent person. I'm asking you for a debate. Under any grounds, wherever she is. If Loretta says she went from one radio station to the other to talk to people who wouldn't ask her relevant questions, or people who wouldn't pick her brain, Loretta, I'm waiting for you wherever
she can come on the platform.
She can actually come on the platform
and defend the president's stay in the UK for medical checkup. Because the lady just makes very
insensitive
statements.
She does it
for fun.
She does it for fun.
See, and that's even crazy. How can you be in the presidency and you're joking?
We've all looked for jobs before. We've all applied for jobs. And when you go for jobs, you find every employer wants proactive people. Why? You want somebody that you don't always have to tell, take the HP laptop and put it in the HP compartment.
They already know what to do.
They already know what to do. You need proactive people. So even if Loretta Onoche is being paid to tell lies, even if she's being paid to sugarcoat things for the government, Madam is supposed to have small sense when it comes to selling things. There's some things that you should not say. There's some things you should not say. Just in case she doesn't know, she was one of the last appointees of the president, whatever. She should be able to know that before they appointed her, the president said he was going to equip the health sector in this country. She should know that if she wasn't there when he said that, please, I'm reminding her wherever she is, that the president said he was going to equip our health sector in this country. So we have every reason as Nigerians, not as whalers. Also, calling us whalers is actually very insulting. It is insulting to the people in this country. And I doubt if Loretta will be able to contest for anything after now. Because, trust me, I wouldn't say she's even doing a good job. She's discrediting the government further. Having somebody as Loretta make such besmirching statements, such insulting statements, I think it's doing a lot of disservice to the government.
Oqua, do you have any word for Loretta, or you're not going to pay her any attention at all?
So the reason why government can talk to us like this, the reason why government can do what
As Ricky said, the government needs to fear us. Yeah, I'm not going to forget that.
The reason why is they know we cannot do jack. Every point of check and balance has been annihilated, sir. The justice department, the legislative arm of government in the back pocket, the judicial arm of government in the back pocket, security agencies in the back pocket. Sir, you don't understand what I mean by there's no government in Nigeria. We have a group of people who came in under the pretense of they want to govern. But sir, immediately they got in nothing about their actions, their thoughts, or anything whatsoever was directed towards governance. Nothing. Look at it. A presidential aide, technically speaking on behalf of the president, said you people are fooling around in front of London House. Now, you have to understand that we are, all of us collectively, we look like trash in front of Buhari. That's what he sees. That's the reason why we talk about this one.
She said we should get ready. He will go in 2022.
Yeah, I want him to go in 2024, 2025. She need to go in 2030. I dare him. Rubbish. Please forget
Anyway, Let's move to our final topic. We're on time today. Yeah. So, Fani-Kayode on Tuesday through a series of tweets stated that whoever Nigerians vote in as President Muhammadu Buhari's successor in 2023 will determine whether or not Nigeria would remain as one. So he went on to say that the political struggle in the country has gone beyond parties, specifically APC and PDP, adding that the struggle is now between those agitating for separation and others who are fighting for the country's integration. So I'm just going to read just 2 paragraphs from the tweet. So he said, if we make the right choice and elect a young, strong, decisive, tough, clear-headed, clear-thinking, detribalized, level-headed, restrained, sensitive, kind, passionate, bridge builder. This guy's funny. Yeah, who is ready to do the right thing, restructure the federation, establish justice and equity, liberate the oppressed, take away the pain of the people, and heal their wounds. He says then Nigeria may just survive. Keyword, may. Yeah, so he goes on to say, however, if we make the mistake of electing a rudderless, incompetent, geriatric, and egocentric intellectual barbarian, and a bubbling and ineffectual fool, whose lust for power and wealth is insatiable, who is detached from reality, who suffers from acute dementia. Why did I think he was talking about someone like Buhari here? Who refuses to acknowledge the cracks and divisions in our body politic and nation, whose only interest and motivation is the acquisition of primitive wealth, and who has no interest in righting the wrongs of the past and building bridges across ethnic, regional, and religious lines, then our nation will break into 1,000 pieces. So basically what Fani-Kayode is saying right now is that the unity or the nation Nigeria, the unity, Nigeria staying united after President Muhammadu Buhari leaves power is going to be dependent on who we appoint as president, So I don't know what you guys think about that. Do you think the unity of Nigeria is in any way at all dependent on who we choose as president in 2023? And if you think so,
you don't have to read that long.
Wait now. If you think so, what do you think what steps can we take? What steps can we take to ensure that we actually elect the right president in 2023? Which I think that part is very important. What can we as a people, because we're just here as a people, we are not the politicians that are going to come out. How do we elect the leader that we want? Because you and Henry Oqua, you keep talking about the problem being from the top, saying that we don't have a government. So what can we do? We're in 2021 now. We still have a couple of years. What steps can Nigerians start taking to secure the Nigeria that we dream about, to secure peace in this nation, to get that health care that we care about, or to get a leader that actually cares, that want to serve, or leaders that actually care and want to serve, but starting from the top, which is the president. Yeah.
Okay, so I just want to add a bit of humor here. All those positive qualities that FFK talked about, I don't know how he can recognize those things. But
just saying.
FFK, whether you love him or you hate him.
Yeah, it's funny, man. I like his vocabulary, though.
He has a way of seeing clearly.
He's an intellectual barbarian, a mumbling, ineffectual fool.
For me, I actually think that FFK was more or less describing himself in the second one, and then the first one he was talking about how he would how he wish he was.
The second one he was talking about Buhari. Don't do that.
No, it wasn't Buhari he was talking about.
He doesn't have dementia, though.
No, you should check it out. He's not talking about Buhari.
Okay.
He's talking about the guy from Lagos, but no problem. Let's just move on.
Okay.
So, So this narrative, that one person is coming, this one person is gonna fix it for us, I don't know where we got it from. I don't even know. I don't understand how it came into our culture and has stayed there for a very long time. Because in every other thing that we do, yeah, it isn't one person that we put everything in. Let's be frank. There are people who follow God, who follow Jesus, who follow Muhammad, and still add charm to it. They understand that. They understand or believe that this guy, he's all holy, and so maybe he needs a bit of support. Basically, what I'm saying, Basa, is the whole idea of leadership in Nigeria has to be re-examined. You get what I'm saying? We, the people, must take up our own responsibility. You get? Now, whether it translates to getting your voter's card, whether it translates to not littering, do you understand? Whatever it translates to, whatever Nigeria is going to become will have to be made by us. See, whether we like it or not, rigged or not rigged, 2015, 2019 happened because we allowed it to happen. Now, there are those of us who know a bit more. There are those of us who have access to certain kinds of information and technology. Our job will be to flood the streets as quickly as we can, to start to explain to the people, that larger part of the electorate, to explain to them what the consequences of their choices are for the next 16 years, not 4 years, for the next 16 years. Do you understand? Now, when we are able to get that on lockdown, and we are able to, in some regard, secure some kind of electoral reform going into the elections, then maybe there's hope that we will get to 2023. But there are things already standing in our way, Sal, that are telling us, listen, you can't go further from here. You can't go further. The country is collapsing under the weight of insecurity. Have you noticed that since we've been here, we've not talked about the level of poverty in this land?
Yeah, we've been talking about insecurity.
Do you understand? So, and what we are talking, the insecurity that we're talking about is just one problem for the poor man that is out there.
Yeah, but they're suffering it still. Though.
There's still so much. Yes, there's still so much.
Yeah,
there's still so much. So your child leaves the house because you don't have money to pay for school fees and blah blah blah. A crime has been committed. The police come and raid that place. They carry your child and you go. You don't have the money to go and bail your child. Whatever crime that they put on that child's charge they put on that child's head has become his fate for life. You understand? So I asked the other day, what would it take? What would it take to snap this country? What will it take? How elastic are we really? Do you understand? There's just so much crap that's being thrown at us. That even countries that we don't have respect for, citizens from other countries that we don't have respect for, will not take those things. But the Nigerian man just seems to have...
We're on Instagram laughing.
Do you understand?
Laughing.
We just have so much room. So much room to take...
Anyway, Mr. Houston, do you think it's going to need us to change the president? Because I believe in division of labor, and I believe in structure as well. I don't believe just one man can do everything. I always used to argue with my friends and say, okay, when they say, oh, Buhari is the problem of Nigeria, I used to tell them, if every governor was working 100%, every minister was working 100%, every head of parastatal, every other person on their jobs were working 100%, but the president was or is the way he is right now, would there be any difference in the country if the military head, the police head, everybody was doing their job based on their own integrity, not based on what they're asked to do, because they know what to do. They don't need to be told what to do. I always argue that I feel like Nigeria could be great. I think the country could function. I think the country could actually even look better. And I think the people will be happy because at that point in time, nobody will be thinking about the president. Nobody's thinking about the president of America. In America, they're focusing on their state governors, the states that are running their states. So different states, different laws, different extent of joy and happiness, in the different places that you go to. But here, we're putting everything on the president. We need a president right now for Nigeria to stay as one. We need a president to unite us. We need the president to go and secure Imo State. We need the president to go to Borno State to secure Borno State and make sure Hausas and Yorubas are not fighting as well. Do you agree with that assertion by FFK that whoever will put in power in 2023 will determine whether we will stay as one in this country?
Please, when was APC formed?
2013.
2013.
Yeah.
And they had their first election in 2015.
2015.
And they produced, this was what they came up with.
This is what they've come up with.
Structure is what they came up with. Okay. What do you think? Do you think the president has actually done so much with uniting the country?
I don't know, he's not done anything.
97 and 5%.
Let's even leave.
I'm coming somewhere.
Yeah.
The president hasn't done so much to unite.
He's not done anything.
He's not done anything to unite the country. Fine. Instead, has he done things to disintegrate?
He has, whether knowingly or unknowingly. And I want to believe that the president is not a dumb person. So when he was making all the appointments,
allegedly,
he knows.
Yes. Allegedly not a dumb person.
Okay. So if the president, it is only natural to call on the president that scatters something to fix that thing. Secondly, my policy, I don't like to talk about 2023 because, we started talking about, we have to think about our future, quite all right. We need to think about our future, all right. But then we started talking about 2015, as far back as 2012, 2013. As a matter of fact, after President Buhari lost his 2011 elections, they started planning, they started strategizing, scheming for 2015. And this is what they came up with. With all those years of planning, now we still have somebody in power. If we start discussing 2023, I think it is making these people complacent that we're stolen as much as we want to steal. Let us keep stealing. These people have forgotten about us. They will call us bad, they will call us good. See, we need to hold these people accountable until the last day. So for me, I really don't have much to say on this particular topic because I think, how do we hold them accountable? By what we're doing, by everything we're doing, and by more that we're going to do. We must keep calling them out. What's the worst they'll do? They take a human life, they'll take my life. Because that's probably what they're good at. They'll kill people for saying the truth. Allegedly. Okay, so but this is what we've been seeing. They take people to court, they do this, they do that, we'll protest, they come after us.
Daddy Yata is still missing.
So we will keep speaking out. We'll keep speaking up.
Yeah, but Houston, on the second question, which I think is important, so what you say, you don't like talking about 2023, but okay. let's assume that we're already close to the election campaign period. What do you think we as a people, especially the youth, what steps do you think we need to take, to ensure that we don't make a mistake?
I said this
because I see comments where people are still saying Tinubu for 20, like young people, like I'm like, okay, how about the whole NSAS, whatever youth thing that we talked about? What are we doing?
Firstly, NSAS to some people was a protest, to some people it was come and eat, to some people it was come and socialize. So you wouldn't necessarily blame the people. We weren't really speaking one voice in NSAS. Those who spoke, but not everybody entirely. And then
why are we not speaking? Do we not feel the same thing?
I'm coming. Then the youth were still used against the youth in the NSAS, like we saw play out. What I would say is I will still take my former stand. I profiled this solution in episode 3, I think. I said voter education. We need to teach people. One of the solutions I profiled, you said it wasn't feasible, it wasn't plausible at all. I said, we had to what did I say? I said we had to give our own manifestos to the prospective candidates, whatever it is. But that's not feasible in Nigeria.
They said that we are not even united. So
no, clearly we're not united.
In fact, their manifestos.
Yes. So clearly we're not united in this country. We're not united. We haven't ever really been united. That's the truth. I think certain things have made us united. Crude oil has made us look like we are one. Super Eagles has made all of us look like we are one. All these things have always come to make Nigerians look like we are united. But the truth is, we are not really united. We're not united.
Do you think we want different things in terms of the country?
Yes. We all want different things. Some people want to rule. That is what they want. Some people want due representation because they believe that their people are going to work, are going to do these things. Some people want development, some people want infrastructural development, people want all kinds of, some people just want healthcare, some people just want electricity. We all want different things. Some people just want for their pockets, some people are just selfish, they just want their own subsistence, stolen wealth, that's what they need. So Clearly, we all have different things, but trust me, even in the most united countries all over the world, United States, there's still divisions. So that's a very normal human phenomenon to be divided in ideas and consciousness. But then in Nigeria right now, I think that for us to have a single goal will not really play. But then, just like I educated some people at the National Assembly during the NSARS thing, I told them that I met, and sorry to bring in this issue, I met a couple of aggrieved northern youths that said, stop calling these people Hausa boys. That's the people who were coming to break people's heads and all that, to destabilize the process. Stop calling them Hausa people. I called these people who were aggrieved because they were Hausa people who were protesting amongst us. And I told them, I said, I'm sorry, my northern brothers. I really apologize that we call these people, we term them Hausa people, we call them Fulani people. But I believe that there are people like you who still understand that we're fighting for a just cause, who still understand our consciousness. See, make sure you get to these hoodlums before the politicians do. And that is the job we have to do.
How do we do that when we don't have money?
When we don't have money? Well, it's quite difficult to say, but then we have to do something, because the truth is, see, it's like, how do I say it? It's like during the golden age of the Greek, what's it called? Sorry, the Romans civilization. The Romans will say, if the Crusaders do not get to these people, the Ottoman will get to them first. So you will have to get to people before the politicians will get to them. And when the politicians get to them first, they'll definitely use them against you. You know how, the last episode we talked about how they played the tribal, the Afran boys, the tribal card. They always play that tribal card when it doesn't work for them, when they play the religious card. We know how they do these things. So this is, if you really care so much, if you care so much about 2023, like I don't really, for now, I'm not really putting it at the forefront of my agenda, but if you really care so much about it, I think it's time people start educating their brothers. And when I talk about their brothers, not people who are already educated, not people who actually are educated. In the Bible, when Jesus Christ sat down with the Gentiles and was eating, and people, the Pharisees came and said, why are you feasting with the unholy? Jesus Christ said, it is because of the unholy I came, not because of you who already understand the truth. So what I'm saying is, we must get to those people that cannot hear anything. They can only understand Wa, they can only understand Bia, they can only understand Zo. Those people who don't understand, whom when they say, they are killing our Hausa people, they want to kill all the Hausa people, they will pick up arms and start fighting their brothers. These are the people we need to get to first. Trust me, if we can do this and preach and get to these people, I'm saying preach because if you say teach, most times, you know how powerful, we're from Nigeria, and you know how powerful religion is in Nigeria. When you preach, when you teach, people do not receive it as much as when you preach. So we need to preach the goodwill, we need to preach the truth to these people first. So when later on these politicians, because trust me, by 2023, our politicians were already scheming how they're going to use this set of hoodlums. And it's so sad. We need to let these hoodlums know that Buhari does not enter, you will still be a hoodlum. If you're a shoemaker today, you're shouting, say Baba, you will not even be a dignified shoemaker by the time he leaves office. You're still going to be a poorer shoemaker.
Don't they know that? Don't they know that already? Why? You have to tell somebody that's already experienced it and seen it.
No. See. I feel there's so much more to be done with regards to telling these people and teaching these people. Because, see, I know the politicians, from what I've seen in the North, it's not like in the South. In the South, we're moved, like, it's a mercantile system of wrapping people's heads. You just bring money and people just go with you. It's money, business. But in the North, if you can use 500 naira to make somebody go and break another person's head, if you can use 500 naira to make somebody go and break his brother's head in this country, when his brother is actually fighting for his own good, then I think we can actually get to the youth in the North before, because the youth in the North, they are poor, we know this, but I don't think poverty is one of the biggest challenges if you ask them.
Anyway, Henry, do you have any final thing to say or to read?
So with respect to what we can do, one of our partners, the My Voice, My Future NGO, they should be with us by the next episode we're recording to explain what our roles are, where we can help, what we can do. But I know that for now, there's a GoFundMe link out there where people are donating. I think by today we should have reached like £1,000 already, So yeah, all of this is geared towards getting the right information to the grassroots. The whole idea is to show people, okay, these are the things you need to know about any leader that you want to bring in. listen, when we have stomach problem, we go and look for medication for that problem. When we have headache, we look for problem for. Let's treat Nigeria like that. Do you understand? We have a problem. Let's give it to the people who can administer that help to Nigeria. It's the doctors. The doctors are who? The electorate. Let's give them the information that they need to be able to make wiser decisions, more informed decisions, and put the right people in office. Now, if we get 30% of our local government offices correctly, Sal, Nigeria will be a better place. If we get 20% of our states governors correctly, Nigeria will be in a better place. You understand? So now we have to help people understand. In fact, one of the tasks that I'm taking on is to find out who the government representative of where I live is. Who that person is. What are his responsibilities? What should I start asking him for? You understand? Instead of putting everything at the doorstep of somebody who is not really there, let me ask somebody, what are you here to do? Exactly. What are you here to do? What are the tasks that you're supposed to deliver? Then let me find out whether you have done that. You understand? And I believe that's how it all comes together for us. If at all we are going to make it out of this, we will all have to be gatekeepers at whatever level that we find ourselves.
All right, we have come to the end of today's episode. I'm just going to say to every Nigerian out there, we need to want the best for us. We cannot just keep joking about our future. We need to take our lives seriously. There's more to life. I know most people are just stuck in Nigeria here. They have not seen whatever is going on outside. You don't even need to even see what's going on outside for you to know that things can be better. We can want more. There's nothing wrong in wanting more. You don't need to accept wherever you are being given. We deserve better. We deserve the best. So thank you, you guys, for today.
Thank you,
hopefully,
Thank
we'll be here next week as well to react to more trending national issues. Please like this video, subscribe, and click the notification button on YouTube. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Where's the subscribe button again? It's on this side, man.
It's
Subscribe.
on
It's on
whatever
this
side. Yeah. All right. Thank you.